First sign of the Armageddon to come.
You tell him, bro!
I am, Sister Susie, I am. Look around, you people of Underwych. What do you see? You see a land that has been corrupted. Our buildings fall. Even the templedom of the Great One has been toppled. Our land falls into chasms and catastrophes.
Yeah!
Verily, have you abused the realmdom of he who must be obeyed? You have laid waste his land. They bubble and they boil. They blister and they ooze. See what you have done to what was once a holy place.
Yeah, we've made it even holier!
Laughter! The time will come when your laughter will echo in the deepest of the pit.
Yeah, you tell him, bro.
I am trying to do that, Sister Susie.
And we'll all be living in the hallowed lands
of reclamation!
I am the memory of a land-trapped Triassic shallow sea. I am rock salt, lime and ash clinker.
I am the salt sweat of the lumpman on his hurdle. I am fly ash from the hissing and thumping of the Bolton and Watt steam engine.
I am forgotten waste of lime and bund walls. I am ruins, woodland, grassland. I am
Sedge warbler, glaucous gull, stone chat, wind chat, barn owl, long-eared owl, dunlin, ruff, jack snipe, common green shank, black-tailed godwit, red-throated diver,
Holopteryx splendens, Coenagrian puella, Ischniare elegans, Striolatum symparetum, Libellulum quadrimaculata.
Water throws through me. Water seeps through me. I suck the water back into my darkest depths in spitting, gurgling gulps. The river, weaving, etches his silver thread across my undulating, pockmarked skin.
My skin conceals a multitude of memories. Leaded antique salt pans. Simple pottery vessels that shaped the salt for Norman lords and labourers. The grunt of half-clad downling men, their bodies gleaming with steam and sweat as they pull the heavy iron rakes across the bottom of the salt pans. And the sighs of the women, stripped to their petticoats, wiping their soaked brows as they stand over the steaming pans.
I hide a maze of tunnel caverns and salt springs. I am layer upon layer of a history waiting to be told and retold.
Beaded chestnuts, beautiful brocades, gnat-winged swift, marbled beauty, tail-mottled willow, round-winged muslin.
Run, lovely. Let your tiny, sturdy walking boots patter across my sun-warmed skin. I exhale breaths of rain-soaked soil and sweet grasses just for you. Now stand on this grassy half-moon and close your eyes tight.
My layers of toothpastey lime obligingly tremble beneath your feet. And now he'll swing you up onto his shoulders and take you to the meadows to hunt for bead-bright butterflies. Watch them flutter by.
Dingy skipper, clouded yellow, red admiral and painted lady, small tortoise shell and peacock, gatekeeper, hedge brown, dark green fritillary.
Turn me, till me, help me grow a new skin. A skin of meadowland, woodland and wetland. Watercoloured rays from a late November sky trickle through cast iron clouds.
Sea mouse ear.
Sea sperry,
Knotted pearlwort.
Wild tassel.
Goosegrass.
wild mint,
Scented mayweed.
Red dead nettle.
Smooth cat's ear.
Smooth hawksbeard.
Hemp agrimony.
It was dark and very cold too. Emma seemed to be following some kind of path, but didn't know which way she was going. As she inched her feet forward, if the earth could open up once, then it maybe open a second time. She had lost all sense of time. It was only the rapid patter of her heart that gave away any suggestion of the passage of time. But she hadn't counted. Then she heard another sound. The sound that her heart seemed to be beating faster. But she stopped, straining to listen. But it wasn't her heart. It was the sound of water steadily dripping. Water. She'd heard of underground streams as flash floods. Was she to be drowned? Then there was another sound. That of the swish and swash as though feet being dragged through water. Her heart began to pound, as loud as the water she could hear dripping. Emma was afraid. She got the sensation that something passed very close to her face, cool and clammy. Reaching out into the darkness, she realized that it was only her own hand.
Oh, thank you. You are so kind. We needed a dash of fresh salt.
You're drawn?
Are we what?
Yeah, the Rhine used to see a doctor. Well, that last pint was stronger than I thought.
Did she call us prawns?
Oh, some people just cannot see beyond the colour of their crustacean.
Well, she called me a prawn.
Oh, I'm sure I didn't mean to offend.
We're shrimps, dear. Shrimps.
And you're shrimpist.
Let it go, dear.
Well, what are you doing here?
We're wild brine pumping. We're wild brine shrimps, you see?
Know what that is?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
You cannot possibly, dear. It is an ancient art, what we do. No one else is initiated. We are the last of those that have the wisdom.
The wisdom. It's an ancient art.
The instructions are in Latin.
I know, because the Romans started it first.
No, she means the instructions are in Latin, but you can't see it.
Well, what I think you're doing is tapping
Like so?
into streams. Seas of salty water lurking beneath the surface. You bore
See, she's calling me names again.
a hole, a shaft. So you draw
I can draw Michelangelo da Shrimpy. That's me.
salty water up from the streams by pumping.
Pumping, pumping.
The salty water up to the surface. Water is then poured into pans to heat it up until salt crystals form. That's what you're doing, and you have to pack it in,
Why so, dear?
because you're doing damage
Says who?
to the environment.
Who cares?
All that salty water you're extracting is leaving spaces beneath the surface. That's why Underwych is falling down, why donkeys are drowning in the mines and houses are subsiding. Underwych has too many holes.
Who's by us?
And the brine crabs.
Why mute?
The brine badgers.
Are there any brine badgers?
No, they're black and white, aren't they?
So, the wild brine shrimps are responsible for the Great Tremble.
And I can get home with my head in one piece. A bit bigger, but in one piece.
Thank you, Eyeball.
Name's Emma, actually.
We've heard enough. It seems these creatures are responsible for our ills and not you.
I'll accept written apologies.
And as for these creatures, Have them taken away, and instruct my chef to prepare a hot garlic sauce for my shrimp crevette. Nay, absolutely we'll round up the wild briners and have a feast to celebrate. Good people of Underwych, I have good news, good tidings. I have discovered the reason for the great tremble. I think that deserves a cheer, don't you? Hooray! The wild briners are responsible, and they shall be made to pay. You will all be paid handsomely for damage to homes and properties. Hooray! So itemise your claims. Don't delay. Submit them to the Underwych Brine Compensation Board. Yes, don't delay. Make your submissions today. To the compensators!
Get your compensation here. Roll up. Roll up. Get your compensation here. Roll up. Let's put these little brine critters out of business.
Item!
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
One horse,
An horse.
swallowed up by the earth while the old nag was standing in the stable. Pity it was the horse that went instead of the old nag. She's still here.
Item.
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
For a barrel of me best beer in the cellar of me inn. There 1 minute, gone the next. Can't think how else it could have disappeared. Item.
Hang on.
Keep up, eyeball.
Me old structure subsided, me bottom's fallen through, and I've a load of side pressure.
Yes, I think we probably can sustain that claim, madam. Take this down, eyeball. We do hereby give you notice that damage as defined by Section 28 of the Underwych Brine Pumping Compensation for Subsidence Act has been called to the irrediments and premised and described in the schedule hereto, and situate within the Underwych Brine Compensation District by the subsidence of the same or any other land, and the subsidence is the result of the raising or pumping of brine.
Does that mean yes?
Absolutely not. And here are a few we prepared earlier. 240 owners.
Yeah.
892 buildings.
Yeah.
5 public buildings.
Yes,
Yes,
my
Lord.
Churches.
Amen.
Schools.
Present.
Police courts.
Hello.
15 manufacturing workshops.
Ka-ching.
21 slaughterhouses. Stables. Outbuildings. 34 warehouses and workshops.
Yeah.
140 pubs.
Cheers.
140 shops.
Yeah.
646 houses and cottages.
All that damage. Do you really think the brine shrimps are going to be able to settle these claims?
Of course not, but it'll put them out of business. They're not the only pumpers in Underwych.
Just a minute. You said you're going to pay us compensation, but who's going to put the buildings right?
What do you want to put them right for? This is our tumble town. It's what people come from miles to see.
Do they?
Oh, yes, eyeball. People come from far and wide to witness the wonders of Underwych. So let's take some pictures for posterity. Oh, you on?
Yeah.
And on. Whitten Street. Paws Bank. Wheat Sheaf. Reeds Rain. Leicester Street.
They sound familiar.
Castle Street.
Verily,
Oh no, the ranker preacher.
look upon the pits and craters and repent.
Someone else for an explanation for the ills of Underwych.
The great tremble is a punishment for your sins. You drunken men, sway and stumble. Behold your sloping world. You indecent women, flout and flaunt. See, Jezebel, how Sodom and Gomorrah has come to pass. The great chasms that open up in your streets are a sign from the Great One that you can look down into those gaping tears, those cracks of doom, and feel the heat below. For that is the path of the sinner. That is the path of the sinner. Turn from it, sisters.
We will.
Take another turn.
We shall.
Look up to the light and lift yourself up from the pit.
That's it.
I know that, sister.
No, not that. The answer to the problems of Underwych.
The answer is to turn to the Great One and away from the demon drink.
What you need is a big lift. It's time, like Humpty Dumpty, to put your world back together again.
And how's you supposed to do that, Eyeball?
Well, watch this space, because where I come from, Underwych, we had exactly the same problem. And there were 3 solutions. And you all best be listening carefully, because there'll be written tests later. The 3 solutions were...
What?
1. Different ways of framing the buildings to stop them twisting out of shape. 2. A way to lift the buildings that had sunk. 3. And this is only just happening now, a way to stabilise the mines beneath the surface so the shoppers of Sainsbury's can feel safe to go about their business.
Then what are you waiting for, Eyeball? Get us going.
I need some jacks.
Is there a jack in there?
And that's to be athletic.
Ginger!
Are these fit for purpose?
Anyone else like to try, ladies?
Back off, lady. Ooh.
What's next?
Timber for framing.
Tiny Tims then.
Size isn't everything.
Tim Framers.
Hup!
Wood.
Check!
Panels.
Check!
Lat.
Check!
Plaster.
Check!
Terracotta.
Check!
10 pints of James Ale.
That isn't on my list.
An incidental expense. On your marks.
Like the London Olympics.
Get set.
Although this will probably cost less.
Britain Street, raised with weaveling navigation jacks. Screw jacks. Hydraulic jacks. shop.
Raising shop.
Filling under with cinders.
Composite Latin plaster won't be difficult to lift.
Composite lath and plaster coming up.
Brick setting below.
Brick setting below.
Raising floor under building all sills.
And strengthening the front.
To prop up and shore the present building. On the ground, up to the first floor, so as to form a proper and satisfactory support for the upper part of the building, and then entirely cut away the bottom story of the main block of buildings and lower the top part down to the required level to suit the proposed raising of the street.
Just like that.
Built to last.
Not where I come from. Not many remaining buildings that have been left, moved or converted.
Bridge House,
Grandad?
CRS building, Power Hall. Do you remember that one?
Yes, Grandad, but where are...
Reed Rains, D'Souza's.
I think they're looking for me. I better go.
Out of the question. You're ours now. You're my principal advisor. And this is your advisory post. Good people of Underwych, lend me your eyeballs. I have good news. Our town is safe from the tremble. Our pits are secure from collapse. Those responsible, the wild briners, have been caught and dealt with. Our buildings and towns and cities have been framed, lifted, and are secure forevermore. Well, I think we ought to give a great cheer to the one responsible for such actions, don't you? Yeah. Namely myself, the Master Burger of Underwych. And now I have another cunning little plan. As many of you downlings know, some of our pits have become exhausted. The rock salt no longer gleams on the walls. I intend to put these pits to a new use. We will flood them, create vast underground seas, from which we can pump brine into the salt pans of Underwych.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
We shall never be short of brine, and we won't create the vast underground holes that the wild briners did so culpably.
But
the wealth of our town will be assured forevermore. Not now, eyeballs.
Well, you have to understand that what we do to our world now has consequences for the future.
Silly.
We have to look after what we've got, protect it.
Nonsense.
And if you pump salt water into the mines, and think about this, what keeps them intact?
The walls, of course.
And
The pillars, of course.
pillars. The pillars of salt.
That's right, the pillars of salt.
And what happens to salt when it comes into contact with water?
Don't you know? And we thought you were so clever.
Yes.
Yes. It dissolves. Oh.
So,
Chief Bird, I think we do need to reconsider your plan.
out of the question.
Why?
Because the mines are being flooded as we speak. Those, in fact, that are beneath our feet.
No!
Yes.
No!
Yes, yes!
No!
And I say yes! And if I'm wrong, well, it was her idea. It would be all her fault.
Absolutely not!
Absolutely yes! Execution her off with her head!
Pappy, help me!
Up with her. Tumble, tumble, talk and slide. Batter, beater, bouncer, trouncer. Up with her. Past the colonnades of crystal. Crushed and crumbled, crystal tumbled.